And once you've kind of identified the opportunity that you want to go after, what is your kind of playbook now at Vanta 5 to get that kind of set up and profitable?
Yeah. So we run a robust recruiting process. So, we use a recruiter because the first big, the, the financial model, the operating model, that's while custom to every business, that's like relatively repeatable, right? And like, that's actually one of the things we're banking on is that it's repeatable. So then we have with the operating model, here's the four pillars of success in doing this: operating model, financial component, financial model, and actually the cash, the vision and domain, and then the founder, right? So we've kind of talked about two of them are straightforward for me. The vision we talked about, and then the fourth one and a really critical X factor is the person who's going to do this. It's the CEO and founder. So we run a really robust process to find that person, vet them, make sure they have full transparency and understanding in terms of what we're doing, incentives are aligned, et cetera. Bring them on board, and then we're off to the races. And then we kind of go through our annual, quarterly, down to the week over week plan to get to win the first year. That sets us up to win the second year, the third year, et cetera. So, and I could talk in more detail about any of those components, but those are the broad strokes.
Can we just kind of cover briefly like that initial setup period and how involved you are and when you expect to kind of become less involved?
Yeah, I mean, it's to give you real numbers, I'm putting in probably 5 to 10 hours a week per business, right? So I'm not like an advisor that checks in once a month, but I'm also not a full-time operator. It's somewhere in between. So I'm fairly involved, I guess, and I expect to maintain that. I think probably for at least the first 6 months. I think maybe the second 6 months, or even maybe second year, I can drop that down to maybe the bottom into that range, maybe closer to 5 hours a week. I don't really want to be less involved than that with any of the businesses, to be honest. I'm not trying to be an angel investor or make like 30 random bets here, right? And hope one pays off. Like I do want each one of these businesses to succeed, and I'm going to basically do everything I can to make sure that happens. So I have no actual operating role in any of the businesses. Like, so if I was on vacation for a week, like, nothing would stop happening, right? The goal is that everything I'm doing is additive. So it accelerates the business, it de-risks it, it avoids pitfalls, solves my involvement, is able to solve problems faster, get access to resources, network, et cetera, faster, build partnerships faster, like speeds up and de-risks. It should be the outcome if we do this the right way.
Okay. And then financially, how much are you kind of putting down to get that path to profitability?
It kind of varies, but it's like a lower six-figure check is kind of the required seed capital. And then the goal usually is we get to a break-even point within the first year, usually 6 to 9 months in. So the goal is not to run this like a venture-backed company, right? Where you're like raise money and then raise more money. Like the goal is to basically short circuit that cold start period where an agency is kind of trapped because the founder's spending all their time on delivery and they don't really have time to sell. There's no resources to do marketing, and you basically kind of just spin around with like 4 clients for 2 years because you just can't fully get out of that. Like that's the goal, is to like blow past that in the first 4 months and then go from there.